Okay, you're welcome again to Bioethics channel. This is the arm of African Center for Bioethics Training and Research. That will brainstorm on bioethical issues and challenges that affect humanity and society. We're going to be looking at surrogate motherhood arrangements, where a child becomes subject of legal custody, also for custody. We're going to be looking at the case of baby M. That's not a sort of anatomy. We're going to be listening to two philosophy students of University of Lagos. Let's hear your views, young philosophers.
My name is Nicole Williams, and I'll be talking about the Baby M case. The,
My name is Anuske Precious.
the,
So, what is this baby M case all about?
Baby M case is about a legal tussle between the surrogate mother and the people who employed her to be their surrogate. Surrogate mother Mary Macbeth is the one who donated her egg and also carried the child, while the William Stern is from the Stern family and he also donated his sperm to her for her to carry the child. While she was pregnant, they agreed that after she gave birth, she will give up the child to the family who employed her. But after she gave birth, she refused to give up the child. She gave it to them. Then after 2 days, she went back and told them that if they don't allow her to see the child, she'll kill herself. So them being compassionate, they allowed her to see the child. Then she kidnapped the child. Her and her husband, Mary Macbeth and Richard Macbeth, kidnapped the child for 87 days, and that was where the legal battle began. Then the court later awarded the custody to the Sten family while allowing Mary visitation rights.
So I'm basically going to talk about the impacts of surrogacy and refer to this case. So there are plenty impacts. We have mostly negative impacts. We have the impact of social stigma. The who was person that sorry please who was person that was the surrogate.
Mary Margaret.
So we can say that Mary faced social stigma. The fact that she carried the child for 9 months, I'm sure people will question and ask her, "Oh, who owns this child? Who are you carrying this child for?" And the fact that she carried the child and she has to give the child to the STEM family. And also, there's also the issue of parenthood and that's like identifying motherhood, because I found out that Mary's egg was the one used for the Mary's egg and Mr. Sten's sperm was one used to reproduce the child. So the question is Mary the mother, or should we call Mrs. Sten the mother? And we know that are we now going to differentiate motherhood into genetically or the other way? So this is a question that was asked. And also another issue with the child. When the child grows up, who would the child be more closer to? Who would the child be connected to? Who would like what the child also will feel to like emotional imbalance, in the sense that he will be like, oh, I think it was a female rather, baby Melissa. She'll be like, oh, who is my mother? And people will be like, oh, this girl, this other lady carried, because it's going to be a news that will go around and be like, oh, this girl, this other lady carried this girl in her womb. And she'll be like, oh, since Mary was used her egg, so is Mary my mother? So she'll be questioning herself. And I understood that the judgment that was given was that Mary had visitation rights. So it would be like, and as human beings, we have like emotions,
Emotional.
even as women. And women now, what about if Mary is like, oh, I'm actually your mother, I use my egg, I'm stand too. So the girl might just be imbalanced and yes.
So, from what you are saying that this issue of surrogate motherhood, maybe this traditional surrogacy, whereby the woman that carried the pregnancy, her own egg was used. That's traditional surrogacy, unlike the other situation whereby egg donor is different to the gestational carrier, the person that carries the child is different, and then the adoptive mother or the one who intended to have the baby is also different. The issue of three mothers to a child. But what I'm saying is that what is our take on this now that pressure, just like you were saying that there's the genetic mother, there's the biological mother, and who will be the child be connected with? Is it the woman that carried her for 9 months? Is it the woman whose egg is used? Or is it the woman who initiated the surrogacy contract, who is said to be the adoptive mother? In this case, can we say that surrogacy means prenatal adoption in the case of that woman mentally conceiving a child, unlike the woman who biologically conceived the child?
Well, depends on the view, but in the case that the court awarded the case to the Sten family because they had already mentally conceived the child, and they went to Mary to say, "Will you carry the child for us?" And she agreed based on the contract, and they had already signed contract agreements. So the Sten family and Elizabeth had already mentally conceived the child. So basically, the child belongs to her because if she had not brought up the offer to Elizabeth, Elizabeth will not know that she wants to conceive a child for them. And also, William's sperm was also used for it, so they also have a right, the Sten family, to the child.
The pressure, let's see now that the issue of who is the rightful mother comes in. Now you are talking about the foundation of motherhood. How do we define a mother? Unlike our traditional understanding of the mother, the woman who takes in, carries the pregnancy to term, and this issue of technology coming to affect the way we procreate. Thereby, egg could be harvested from one woman, implanted in another. And then, who do we say is the rightful mother? Do we take this understanding of motherhood, or we revert to our old understanding of motherhood?
Well, there are different definitions of motherhood, but I feel that in this case, motherhood should be based on like care, like the care that any of either Mary or Miss Ten shows towards the child. Because if you do it based on genetics or biologically, it's going to be like a whole disaster in the sense that Mary will be like she used that egg, the other one will be like, oh, I gave you money for this. So I feel that the motherhood should just be, in this case, should be based on care. And there are different definitions to motherhood. I can be Nicole's mother. That's if I'm older than I can be her mother. I don't have to be her biological mother or genetically, but it's like the love that I show towards her and the care I show towards her. So that's it.
So, first, I was trying to tell us that motherhood should not just be based on flesh and blood, but the care that is definitive of motherhood in the traditional sense. Like
Exactly.
saying, it's a moral relation with the child, not just about flesh and blood. So one doesn't really have to undergo pregnancy and childbirth in order to be a mother. In that case, can we say that the pregnancy carrier, if I can use that word, commercialized her womb or made her womb available as a venture that will pay and womb rentage? Can we say it's equivalent to womb rentage? Since you can always contract a woman to use her womb to have your baby, can we say is it equivalent to womb rentage?
It is because she offered the services to them. They didn't force
Exactly.
her through it to do to do the surrogacy. She offered the service and said, "Oh, I will be the one that will carry your child for the term until the child is conceived
And she collected an amount.
of money to."
Exactly. So it was not as if they begged her to do it. The fact that she collected the amount means that yes, she was willing to do it.
And she also signed up to the infertility agency to say, "I will be the one that will offer my services and I will get paid in return."
Okay, some critics say that this is becoming a new form of business that replaces prostitution. Every young lady will advertise that womb for rent, my womb is available, pay me. And instead of being a prostitute for it, I can just do one surrogacy, use my womb, and then I make what I could not make through prostitution for years. So is this a new form of business or is it an altruistic act in the essence of it?
It's a way of helping people, those who cannot have children by their own, maybe due to illnesses or infertility. It's a way of helping them. But also, some people can use it to, the surrogates can use it to gain money for themselves if they're running broke and they want to sell their egg or offer their womb.
Okay, at times tell us that is an altruistic act, is a help, is an
Yes.
assistance we give to the infertile couple because of that agony associated with infertility. In other words, there should be check because there's a bit of abuse. But abuse should not preclude use. The fact that it's abuse does not stop it. It only needs regulation. So what type of regulation do you think can be put in place to forestall abuse in this scenario?
Well, for me, I feel that there should be an agency for, I don't know how to put it. Maybe there'll be an agency for, oh, come to this place. We have different ladies. Not as if you are doing it as for money, but you have that agency where you know that there are people willing to use their womb to carry another person's egg or carry another person's child or something like that. I don't feel it should be like a personal thing that, oh, we just sign contract between us. So we know that, okay, it is this agency I went into. It is like an open thing, a public thing.
And the agency will go into deep background check on the person who wants to offer the services.
Exactly.
Okay, I can't say lost that. We're just talking about the issue of relation and then knowing, having a sort of an organization that will handle it. Having a policy, and a policy that will take care of this. God is talking about background check. That means medical history is very important in this area. Then, do you think the child should also be the right the information about origin should be made available to the child? The person was talking about that gap. If the child doesn't know where it comes from, it may harm his or her self-image or creating that genealogical void where you don't know who you are, where you come from, which could also result in sibling marriages or unattempt incest. So how do we handle this? Getting a body like in a country like Nigeria where there's no unified policy on this. How do you think we can handle it? Can you suggest?
I feel that when the child reaches a certain age, both parties can sit the child down and talk to the child. Because it's better to hear from the mothers than hearing it from outside. And hearing it from outside can lead to emotional imbalance that, oh, why did my parents not tell me? Why am I just finding out? So I feel that the parents should let the child know first. And in case if the man gives his egg to another person, we will not find out that, oh, this is my sibling and incest will not take place. So it's better if the child knows. Like when the child is, should I say, the child is
Old enough,
old enough to know and
comprehend.
decipher, comprehend things. Yes, thank you.
So will you recommend this kind of reproductive arrangement to women who are challenged, who are infertile, and then found that are God, being that our culture values procreation and it hates childless marriages. And in Africa, mainly, the purpose of marriage is procreation, for family continuity. When infertility devastates families, will you suggest this kind of arrangement? And what will be the scope of your suggestion?
It can help for the continuum of some families, because some families they can have maybe the issue that their daughter is infertile and they only have one daughter, and they need to be able to carry their lineage on, so they can employ someone to be maybe the egg donor or the sperm donor for the family in order for continuum family.
Well, I can't really say, but I feel that it depends. Because if you are saying that um, you feel that they should continue their family trait and all these things just depends. Because going through the process of surrogacy, you have to know the person's, like the person that is, because they say that every little thing you do can affect a child's upbringing. Like now, the surrogate mother can be a kind of person that listens to rap songs or any kind of song, or the surrogate person, or the kind of food that surrogate mother eats. So I feel all this kind of thing you need, in as much as, oh, you are saying that you want to continue your this thing, it won't be wise if you actually bring a child into the world and the child is deficient in something, maybe in brain wise or health wise, because of you are not careful. So in as much as you say that you want to put to long make your, what's the word, to make your,
Lineage continue.
exactly, you have to like go through much processes, and if you know you have in mind to do it, you can do it.
Also, surrogate mother are always under like intense observer because of the pregnancy, and also it's not their child, so they might want to treat the pregnancy anyhow because it's not them that is going to take care of the child at the end of the day. But the family who employ them and the agency will also look into the care of the surrogate mother during her pregnancy and what she eats, what she does, what she drinks, in order to allow the best health benefit for the child.
Okay, under this kind of arrangement now, as like we have some religious and cultural understanding or influences that uh, determine how we approach uh, third party intervention into reproduction or use of technology in human procreation. For example, the Catholic Church considers third party intervention. They see reproduction as an intra-couple affair. So any involvement of third party is seen as a violation of the dignity and security of marriage. And they consider the sperm as potential life. So bringing it into that marriage will destroy the marriage bond. So somebody who has this belief system, which or is considered as significant. And then the person is also pulled by the cultural factors of trying to have a child within the family. So within this kind of conflicting situation, how do you resolve the dilemma? Do you go maintain fidelity with the tenets of your religion, which sees this arrangement as morally reprehensible, or you go the belief that uh, assisted production is ethical based on the fact that you want family continuity and you price it above your religious belief? Which one would you like to go with?
For me, for people that believe that oh having a third person is like a sin, I won't say that you should leave your religion or anything. I feel that you should just go for adoption in this case. Adopt a child, let the child bear your name and all. Yes.
It also depends on individual perception. If some people perceive that they would rather have a child from through surrogacy, or maybe stick to their religion. If not, they should stick to their religion or do whatever they want to do. It also depends on personal choice.
But when you look at the issue of personal choice or adoption, when there are no available children for adoption, or when the family wants to emphasize biogenetic connection as blood ties, and when you adopt, it's obvious that the baby is not connected with you. And then this kind of condemnation coming from religious and the cultural sentiment bring its own conflict. But the problem of when you want to have a baby, your religion condemns the approach, and infertility is having its toll on you. And then it result people can now resort to backdoor approach to procreation, whereby they recognize baby factories, issue of child theft, and all those stuff. Or even a lady feigning pregnancy, they've seen the husband, pumping her tummy, them to be pregnant, only to go and bring a stolen baby to the family. So for some reason, is it not possible for us to remove ethicals, issue morality in procreation and see it as a therapeutic intervention for human good, so that we get immune from ethical probing and see any effort, not like in certain situations, even though killing is not ethical, but in certain situations, abortion, through abortion, therapeutic abortion, the life of a baby can be taken to save the life of the mother that is in danger. So in that case, that abortion is justified. So can't we justify surrogacy upon this use of technology, human procreation, based on the premise that it helps for human continuity, lest humanity extinguish in the nearest future by having same-sex marriages without procreation, and then we're having aging population without new children to take place of the old. Can't we use therapeutic argument to back up this and then justify it? Is it possible?
It will take time for people to adapt to the term of surrogacy, because for human beings to just accept change takes time. So for some people, they will keep thinking in their maybe their religious way or their cultural way before they get used to that surrogacy is a good way of helping humanity in their continuity.
There's something called public awareness. So for things like this, I feel you can go to media houses, talk about surrogacy, do campaigns, do rallies, talk about surrogacy. Like that, people will get more and more informed about surrogacy, the advantage and disadvantage in that way. Because people are still yet to understand the real meaning and what comes behind surrogacy.
So thank you. I think you people are giving informed perspective on this. Yeah, our take now is that you're suggesting that has been that evolved policy and there's need for public enlightenment so that people become aware of this. Sometimes you have of ignorance that people go and patronize baby factories or going to child theft. But if they know, instead of when that they come approach and derive this benefit of science and technology, which has answer to their problem. It's not like a miracle of science. They are going to from one spiritual house to another, involving magical practices. Why technology has answered to their problems. So I think your suggestion is that we have to enlighten people about these new technologies so that they will patronize these new technology instead of going to unethical practices like baby theft, child stealing, and even child, commercialization of the womb of other people, having people as reproductive slaves in order to get children from them. But this one, you have to make it an open so that there should be documentation. So the child should also not be denied the right to identity of origin. All the genetic information will be there The child can always come to brother and access and know this is where I'm coming from, this is the egg donor or the sperm donor, and this can always trace his origin while maintaining contact with the adoptive parents. So thank
Yes.
you for your active contribution. I don't know whether you have anything to say
Welcome.
to wrap up.
Nothing, just that people should look more into the acceptance of technology and the growth of technology in today's society, that we cannot keep living in our primitive way of thinking, and we should learn to accept changes of things that will help human beings and everyone.
Yeah, I'm fine. Fine. She has said it all. Thank you.